Hello, world, and welcome back to Cup of Wisdom with Jesus and Coffee, a place where the faith is brewed fresh daily. And as my motto, grab yourself a cup and stay a while. Now, before we get into today's wisdom, I would like to feature my cup of wisdom. And it is inspired by the verse James 3 and 17, and I'm going to paraphrase it. The wisdom that comes from heaven, it is pure, it is peace loving, it is submissive, it is considerate, and it is full of mercy and good fruit. And that way you can have your own cup of wisdom, and you will know that you are exhibiting the characteristics of heaven's wisdom. Excuse me. So if this is something that you would like, if you would like your own cup of wisdom, the link the link will be provided below in the description. So if you would like to purchase your own cup of wisdom, feel free to do that. Now let's get back into our cup of wisdom for today. And I'm going to start off with a question. What do you show up for? And a lot of people will say that they show up for their self, they show up for their family, they show up for their children, their marriage, they show up for things that interest them. And none of that is all good. That is good to show up for those things. But have you ever stopped for a moment and just asked yourself, do I show up for Jesus how he is asking me to show up? Do I show up for Jesus how he is asking me to show up? Let's talk about it. Now, to show up is not only to show up once, but to show up is to continuously show up. Continuously show up to unlock what God has already designed in you. To show up is to be present each and every day and to be authentically you and to show the best version of you and to show up for Jesus and to represent Jesus well, because whatever Jesus has asked of you to do and you show up, no matter what it looks like, no matter what nobody else says, you are showing up and you are doing what you are supposed to do. When we show up, that gives us the steady focus that will allow us to build the obedience that is needed to allow God's plan to unfold in us day by day and step by step. Not just showing up one time and think that, okay, I've done it. I've shown up. No, we have to continuously show up and not allow the things that we see, the things that we think, not to stop them or allow them to get in our way from the mission that God has us on. Side note, just because what Jesus has you showing up for the moment and it doesn't look like what you expect, that does not mean that you should not still show up. Because if Jesus has you showing up for it, there's purpose in it. Best believe that there is purpose in it. And he has all of us showing up in different ways. So just because he has this person showing up this way, that doesn't mean that that's how you are supposed to show up. You are to take it back to God and ask him, how do you have me to show up today, right now? Because he may have you showing up one way today, and he may ask to you to show up a different way tomorrow. And this could look and mean different ways. It can even mean turning down the noise in your life. If you have a busy life, he may be asking you to just tone it down, to sit in his presence, and just to soak him up. It could mean praying when you don't feel like it. If you are someone that you get frustrated, you've prayed, nothing has happened, and he could just be asking you to keep showing up, to keep praying, even if it looks unfavorable, even if it looks uncertain, even if you don't understand. Just keep showing up. It could look like showing unconditional love when your feelings are saying otherwise. God could be telling you, I need you to show unconditional love, even though your flesh, your emotions are telling you not to. He could be asking you just to keep showing up. Yet and still you show up. You show up where God has placed you, wherever that is. And that could be in your home, at your job, at a store, wherever he has asked you to show up at. It could be the smallest thing or it could be the biggest thing. Just show up. He could ask you to start getting up in the morning at 4 o'clock to sit with him in his presence. Just show up. Show up where he is asking you to show up. And this is another side note. Just because we show up, that doesn't mean that life is not still going to life. Because struggles are still going to come. Hardships are still going to come, because that's life. But that does not mean we don't show up. We continue to allow our light to shine bright, and we show up to glorify God. We don't show up for the circumstance. We don't show up for how it looks. We're showing up to glorify God. And just because life will get messy, and it will, it's okay to ponder in that moment for a moment. Consult God. Talk with him. But don't stay in that moment where you're overthinking and where you're pondering. We have to rise above, and we have to continue to show up, and we have to remain faithful. Because we have to always remember, we were never promised a life without challenges, because that is a part of life. To have hardships, to go through trials, that is a part of life. And the world will try to take the word of God out of your hearts. But if you continue to show up, if you continue to show up consistently, intentionally, you will be able to withstand the pressures of the world when they come your way. Now, what I'm fixing to say, I want you to meditate on it. Place it on your heart. Think about this. Jesus showed up for us. When it was time for him to go to the cross, he got sorrowful. He even went to the Lord asking, was there another way? But he knew that he had to show up. And he showed up for us. And he continues to show up for us every day. So we must rise above our flesh and the things of the world, and we must show up for Jesus even when we don't want to, even when it looks uncertain, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it does not look like what we expect it to look like. We must still show up to glorify God and know why we are showing up. Because when we do show up, and I can testify to this, when we do show up, when you continue to show up, God's grace will come in and it will fill you with his perfect peace. And then it won't matter to you about what it looks like when you show up, or how it looks, or how it feels when you show up. Because you will have his perfect peace. And you will know that you are showing up not for the world, not for people, not what it looks like, not what it feels like, but you are showing up for Jesus. So I encourage you today that wherever Jesus has you at in this moment, in this space, in this season, whatever you are in, if you know that Jesus has placed you here, has placed you in that position where you're at, show up. Don't show up for the people. Show up for the glory of God. Do whatever it is that he has asked of you. Do it unto the Lord. If it be the biggest thing to the smallest thing. If he has asked of you, show up. Show up and represent Jesus well. So I want to encourage you all to take it back to God and ask him, where am I supposed to show up today? Where do you have me at today? And show up. And continue to show up. And I promise you, when you continue to show up, watch God work. That is it. That is all I have for you today. I want to thank you all for tuning in to Cup of Wisdom with Jesus and Coffee. And until next time, I love you all with the love of Christ. Bye-bye.